today I'm going to be talking with Summer Artherton, and we're going to learn all about you. It's so exciting. Okay, so I am in Texas, and we met at a tournament, and this is how you know if you're going to be best friends with someone. The conversation starts about shoes.
Yes.
So we just started talking about shoes, and it was destiny.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm in Dallas area. Where are you?
I'm in Huntington Beach, California.
Do you know Nate Diaz?
No. I've walked past him one time. He came to one of the events once, and I walked past him one time, and I was like, I really want to ask you for a picture, but man, he looks so mean. So I was like, I'm not going to bother you. I'm just going to just note in my head that I walked in front of you.
That's so awkward, right?
No, same thing with like actors and stuff like that. I've never really gone up and been like, hey, can I have a picture or anything like that? Like I know for the most part they want to live their lives, just living their lives. So I just try to just note that I saw them. That's all.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward. I was at ADCC and I saw someone I really wanted a picture with, but he was like warming up, and I was like, man, when I'm getting ready for my fights and things like that, I don't really want to be bothered. So
No,
it's like,
no.
excuse me, can I help you stretch while I take a picture with you?
Yeah.
That would be so weird. Okay, so Huntington Beach. I've actually never been to California, strangely enough. Um, and we have a common friend, Mr. Brent.
Yeah.
He'll be excited that I mentioned him. Yay, Brent! He's the
Yeah.
coolest.
He is. He's so
So
cool. So cool.
he's so cool, like the most chill guy ever, just easygoing guy. But he goes out there to train with you sometime, and I've been really wanting to come out.
Yeah.
So, what team are you with, and what's it like training there?
I train out of Rodrigo Freitas. It's in like the Hawthorne, LA area.
Okay.
Super cool, man. The vibe there, it's totally different. We push each other, we challenge each other, but it's literally like a huge family, and everybody is messing around with each other, and it's really cool.
Yeah, that makes for a good training environment when,
Mhm.
it's not all that serious, but you're still training hard. I like it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so you are a lady black belt, and I know that, there's very few going on around in the world, but it's not really where you are. Where I am with questions, usually I want to know how people got there. So when you first walked into a gym, how did this happen, and what was your initial reaction?
So, I'm actually originally from Omaha, Nebraska,
Mm-hmm.
and I started training there in 2006. And I actually first started training MMA. I had a couple of friends that trained and fought MMA and stuff. And one of the guys that I worked with at the time, he was like, hey, his brother ran like a local promotion or whatever. And he was like, hey, my brother's looking for a female fight. Would you be interested? I didn't train. I didn't do anything. And I liked the aspect of it. So I was like, yeah. So I trained for like 3 weeks and then had my first fight and I won. And then it kind of just snowballed from there.
So wait, you hadn't trained MMA at all, and you just like after 3 weeks were like, whatever, I'm just gonna come out swinging.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so badass. You're just like, whatever. I guess if I die, I die.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
There's
how you
more
got
for
to do
the
it.
experience and stuff, but oh, for sure. For sure. But I mean, I kept training after that. It was really hard, especially 2006. Like, man, there wasn't a lot of females and stuff, and so trying to find fights was hard. So I stopped for a little while. It was in I went to college and stuff, and then I also have a son who was like maybe a year old at that time, a year and a half old. And so trying to like be a mom and work and school and stuff, I kind of took off the training for a little while. And then I went to an MMA fight and ran into some people, got back into training. They found me fights, and then kept going from there.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think as a woman and as a mom, especially when you started, it's always challenging, but even more so
Mhm.
back then. But if you can reach the level that you're at, having had a child to take care of and all these other responsibilities, that's real dedication.
My son was in the gym with me a lot, like when he was
Well,
young. just just because that's, that was what I wanted to do. But my mom also helped, like, watch him. Like, if I was going to be there late, then she would keep him home and stuff like that. So
oh, that's awesome. I think it's good if you're able to find that right sort of training environment that is welcoming for you and makes it easy for you as a mom to do
yeah.
both things that you need to do. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Um, so we kind of touched on how you got back into training. When did you receive your black belt?
I got my black belt in February of 2022. So I've had it a little over, like, almost a year and a half.
How has that been? Because I've asked a few people this question and they have very mixed reviews of the black belt experience thus far.
Mm. So when I first got it, um like, I've always, how when people get promoted, they're like, "Oh, I don't want that belt. I don't want that belt." Like, even if you're going from blue to purple, I don't want that belt. I've always wanted the next belt. I've never been in a hurry to get there. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
bother me when I get promoted or anything like that. When I got my black belt, I can't remember what the exact phrase is in Portuguese, but it's like there's a time period where it doesn't fit right. And so you just have to kind of wait until it starts to fit right and then it adjusts and stuff. But that's pretty much, to me, I feel like what the whole last year has been since having it is just trying to find, like, how it adjusts to me,
Mm-hmm.
and what I'm trying to get out of the black belt.
Mm-hmm. Find your place and find your
Mhm.
rhythm, and
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely. I think that that is very applicable for jujitsu, but just in life, I mean, you can't rush your opinions on things. You really have to kind of feel it out and
Yeah.
kind of go with the flow. I'm definitely like a go with the flow. Even when I'm struggling, I'm not super reactive in the beginning. I kind of wait and see
Yeah.
what's happening, and I think
Yeah.
it's kind of the same thing. I feel the same way when I get promoted. I'm like, well, just see what happens, because every time you get a new belt, people treat you different and you have to react different, and your whole game seems to evolve around this promotion, which it doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense, you
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
So you have to feel it out.
Yes.
Okay. So, getting there, have you had any notable difficulties? Any we with my last interview, we were talking about injuries a lot because she had just had surgery, and thank God I've not been injured. But I know the road to black belt has all sorts of nice twists and turns.
Yeah.
So, have you ever had any difficulties like that or anything else?
Um, I separated my AC joint when I was a purple belt. We were drilling a technique and stuff, and I wasn't engaged in the technique, and we were working like an X guard sweep where you have the arm trapped, and I went
Mm-hmm.
up and came down right on my shoulder, and I was out for almost almost 3 months, I think. And then when I came back, like, it's still, even to this day, if my arm is trapped and I'm in some type of standing position and I'm afraid I'm gonna fall on it, my body goes into like a panic mode. It's not as
Mm-hmm.
bad as it was before, but it's still like something that goes off in my brain. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably the worst one, other than maybe like fingers, or especially with jujitsu, there's always ways to kind of adjust around injuries
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. Like, if your knee's hurting, you can adjust a little bit. even with my
Uh,
shoulder, when I first came back, I started playing guard a lot more. Like I would just start sitting down because I didn't want to, I was afraid that if I had fallen or somebody went for a takedown or something like that, I'd end up re-injuring it. So I definitely, my game changed a lot after that injury.
Well, but that's a very positive way to look at it. Like you hurt one thing and you work on something else. Like you evolve in
Mhm.
different ways to work around that. Absolutely. So it's always, you can either, I feel like when I injure myself, I can either guard it and be like really negative about it, or I can adjust what I'm doing to kind of combat that. It's
Yeah.
strange you should say that because we're working X guard this week and now I'm going to be really careful.
Yeah.
That was
Just,
like such a strange coincidence.
yeah. Yep. And it was, man, like it was just one of those days where I wasn't focusing or anything. I just kind of was like, whatever. And that's what happens. Like we always tell the kids, because I help with the kids classes, like, don't be silly, don't be lazy. You want to make sure you're engaged because that's when injuries happen. And I was like, fuck.
Now I've
Yep.
done it.
Yep.
Yeah. I think everybody does that though. Sometimes, like, I guess because we train so often, sometimes you just get accustomed to it being so normal that you're there and you're
Mhm.
doing it that you drift a little bit.
Yep.
That's why I like my husband to be my partner because when they're doing the technique, sometimes I'll go on a little trip. And then I come back and I was like, "Oh my God, were you paying attention?" And he's like, "Yes." So I'm like, "Thank the Lord you pay attention," because I
Yeah.
was like grocery shopping or like doing something. Um,
Yeah.
but
It's so easy to just, you're right there. Like, and that's the thing, like, especially with jujitsu, you try to be as present as possible, but sometimes
yeah,
you go off
no,
someplace.
I'm definitely a drifter. I'll admit it. I'm a drifter. I'll be like
Yeah.
in Cancun or something.
Yeah.
Like, the beach would be nice right now. Oh
Yeah.
man. So like I said, I met you at a tournament,
Hmm.
Jiu-Jitsu World League, which, by the
Yes.
way, is one of my favorite tournaments because I don't know if it's accredited to you, but you do a great job. But it is one of the best organized tournaments. Everybody knows where they're supposed to be, which is fantastic when you have 50 kids trying to go.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm like jogging from mat to mat, but I know where I'm going
Yeah.
because it is well organized. So, how did you get involved with Jiu Jitsu World League?
So when I moved to California, I moved out here probably about 7 years ago. I was training at King's MMA when I first started out here. And my brother trains over there. He's a black belt over there too. But the head professor there and then a couple of the other people there, they worked the events because that was when it was like first starting out. Maybe it was maybe like a year or two after they had first started. And so I started working with them just as a runner, like working the tables and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And then my really good friend Pamela, she was like my trainer. She trained me for everything, for like the runner, then the scorekeeper. And as she moved up through the company, like I kind of followed behind her. Um, and then like I moved up, and now I help out with there's like a group of probably 8 to 10 of us that help organize and keep everything on schedule, on time, and stuff like that, just to make sure that we are running a great event, because that makes a huge difference when things are unorganized. I've walked into other tournaments and stuff to go coach kids, and I immediately was like, "Oh my gosh, this is really bad." Really
Oh,
bad.
I think everybody's been there,
Yeah.
everybody's been there where you're just like, "Ooh," you're on one mat and then they're calling you for another mat and you're like,
Yeah.
what? Yeah, I
Yeah.
think everyone's had this experience at least once.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
no, Jiu Jitsu World League is very organized. And I know this is really petty, but my favorite thing is I really like their shirts. And I was so depressed last time because I saw you and you had like a mustard colored shirt on, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I want that one." And I didn't get to get it before we left. I was so sad. We were in the car, and I was like, "Dang it!"
Yeah.
Uh, next time.
But we'll be back down there. I mean, when is it? I think
September 9th.
yeah, September 9th. That's right. We'll be back in Dallas. So it's right around,
Yeah.
it's literally right around the corner. So.
Hopefully you have the yellow shirt. I'm banking on it. I need the yellow
Man,
shirt.
there's new shirts. There's new shirts coming. And so I'm like, you guys gotta stop. Like,
I don't
my
know who's
closet is
designing
full of
these
like
shirts,
Jiu-Jitsu
but
World League
they are
shirts.
fire. I
Yeah.
mean, the crop tee is my jam.
Yeah.
Like more, I had that pink one from last year, and I just like
Yep.
it's threadbare. I wear it all the time.
Yeah.
So
I love that
we
one.
need some more crop tees going.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think there's a few more coming. So.
Stop. Yeah, my kids even had the jackets, and we were traveling, and we looked like such nerds because all four of us had like the windbreaker, and I was like, man, we need to start getting paid for like promoting this stuff if we're all like decked out all the time on our trips.
Yeah.
People are looking at us and they're probably like, what weirdos matching jackets.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Okay.
I guess
exactly.
you can be called weirdos when you can all four choke people. So
exactly. If you want to open that can of worms, go for it. That's fine.
That's funny. Okay, so you know, I wanted to touch back on something. This is not part of my questions, but I'm interested. So you mentioned that your brother is a black belt out there close to you. Did you get him involved in jiu-jitsu?
No, not really. It's actually kind of funny. We both started training at pretty much the same time in completely different areas. And it
Weird.
took, yeah, and it was like, man, I think the first time we actually rolled together was like maybe 2013 or 2014. So we had both been training for like 6 or 7 years before we even trained together. Like, he was a brown belt before I got to train with him. But
that's crazy.
yeah, and it's when I moved out here, even the people that I would train with when I was training at King's with him, our styles are so similar that everybody was like, seriously? Like, you guys didn't learn together? And we're like, no.
Natural instincts.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
That's funny. So, when you roll together, have you ever seen that movie Just Friends where the brothers are slapping each other and like
Yes.
tackling each other? That's what I pictured when you said you rolled together. Like you being like idiot slapping him.
Yeah.
Was it like a very much brother and sister thing, or were y'all cool?
No, we definitely roll around, not like angry. I don't think we've ever really like had like any type of serious where like altercation where you're like slapping each other or anything like that, but we'll fuck around for sure. Like, I'll put my finger in his ear or something like that, or he'll go and like try to tickle my foot or do something stupid. So
That's fun. Oil check.
yep. Yeah. I don't know if I want to put my finger.
That's so funny. Like I mentioned, my husband and I are partners a lot, and everybody is always like, how do you do that? Because a lot of couples, like, and family members and things like this can't roll together because they get mad or they take it personal. And I've never been mad rolling with him, not even once.
Yeah.
I kind of got annoyed when he like ankle locked me like 15 times back to back. But other than that, we're usually cool. But we mess with each other too, and it's like I feel like that's the best sort of training partner because you can learn from each other, you can have a good time, you can go hard, but
for sure.
It's good. If it's fun, if you're making it fun, I feel like I learn more like that. Rather than super serious roles. Okay. So we talked about you being a mom. Your son's older now based on your post. Like he's a teenager, right?
He's 18.
18.
18.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So you're kind of like out of the woods where, you're super busy, like wiping his butt and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So how did you balance? You mentioned your mom taking care of him sometimes, but how did you balance work and training? Do you teach for your profession, I'm guessing, or do you have something else?
No, so within the last, I think it's been maybe a year and a half now. I only work at the academy. I teach and then help out with the kids classes, and then work for Jiu-Jitsu World League. But before that, especially here in California, man, I was working like 3, 4 jobs, and I guess balancing, just trying to make sure whatever time we got together was like quality time.
Hmm.
And then he was older when I moved out here too. He was like 11 or 12. So if I had to work, sometimes it was okay for him to be kind of by his by himself.
Hmm.
But when he was younger, yeah, I still lived in Nebraska, so my mom was awesome and helped out a lot. So it kind of gave me the
Yeah.
flexibility to do the things that I still wanted to do. But
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
that's definitely a helpful thing because you know how training goes. Like you're there for hours and hours sometimes, and then if it's your job, I homeschool my kids,
yeah,
but in the evening I teach, so
yeah,
they're up there at the gym a lot, and
yeah,
so I think it's if it's something you really want to do, being a professional athlete or teaching jujitsu is definitely a labor of love. No
hmm,
one, no one really gets rich over teaching jujitsu. I mean, unless you're a gym owner and these sort of things.
yeah,
But as an instructor, it's definitely not extra lucrative unless you're doing like 8 billion privates. So
yeah, yeah,
it's hard, and especially like you mentioned, living in California I think is now starting to be similar to living in Texas because the prices and rent and everything has skyrocketed over the last 2 years. So
yeah,
that's amazing that you were able to keep going and keep training while taking care of your child and working all these jobs. It's crazy.
yeah, yeah,
So that's hard, but that again, that's just one more thing that shows perseverance. Like it takes a special sort of person to even want to do jujitsu.
yeah,
So I think we're all kind of like everyone I've interviewed so far has kind of a similar vibe about them, that
yeah,
they're definitely like hardcore no quit type people.
yeah,
And I think kind of that's what it takes to even get past these sort of humps. Like a lot of people make it to their blue belt and then disappear, or because there's a reason for that. It's so hard. It's so hard to
hmm,
balance everything and
yeah,
survive.
yeah.
So good for you. And I like your mom already. I don't even know her, but I like her.
She's awesome.
She
She's awesome
sounds
for sure.
awesome. Um, so I one of my goals for these interview series is I'm starting a women's program at our gym coming
Mm,
up pretty soon, and I really want to build a sense of community of women who can connect and help each other and learn from each other's experiences. And so I want them to be able to watch these videos and kind of get an idea of different people involved in the sport. So um, if you, I'm sure that you've talked to women. Everybody has talked to
mhm.
women, and you're like, "Hey, you should come try jujitsu," and they look at you like you're a crazy person.
Yeah,
And then you look like even more of a crazy person when the next time you see them, you have like a black eye, and you're like, "Yeah, it's really fun. You'll really like it.
yeah,
It's gonna be great." And
yeah.
then they never show up. So, what advice would you give to women thinking about trying it, but they're really just kind of like put off by sweat, blood,
Yeah.
black eyes, all these things? What would you say to them?
I especially nowadays in this, man, the world just it's things are getting crazy. You know what I mean? And not even just for safety wise, do I think that they need to do it, but for themselves, because there's a totally different level of confidence and stuff like that that comes along with it. And same with the discipline and stuff like that, that as you go and you go through, because every belt, like, it transfers to life. There's always something that you have to pass through to get to this, to get to this. You know what I mean? And so, especially for women, um, I think it's necessary. I know the sweat and stuff like that isn't great, and you don't want to do that. For me, like, If I'm not sweating and somebody's sweating on me, then it's gross, but I still do it. But if I have my own layer of sweat, then I feel like it's my own armor. So then it protects me from their sweat, kind of like thing. But it is gross, and it is rough. But man, it's so, you realize what you're really capable of doing, and that's where the confidence comes from. You know what I mean? You're not fragile. You're not gonna break at everything. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of, I wish more women weren't so afraid to try it. Plus, I know training with men is kind of, it's awkward because everything is so like sexualized. So then when you partner up like a male and a female, then it's like that awkward thing and stuff like that. But it's like, dude, no, it's just jujitsu.
Yeah,
You
I've never
know?
even thought about that. I've had people in the lobby, like
Mhm.
wives, tell me that they feel like it's sexual, and I'm like, I would never describe it as sexual. Maybe
No.
like intimate in some way, like,
Yeah,
but
but intimate
not
doesn't mean
sexual.
sexual, you know? Like,
Yeah,
it
there's a
doesn't mean
difference.
that it has to be, yeah.
No, it's like I'm not. It's not sexual. I'm trying to kill him.
Yes.
It's like I mean, I guess it depends on what you're into. If you're a weirdo, but I think like it's not like that at all.
No.
So you mentioned when you started jujitsu, you started as an adult. How
Yeah.
do you feel that maybe your life would have been different at some point if you had trained earlier, or if you had had jujitsu as maybe like a teenager or a child?
So I definitely think that the earlier you start the kids, the better it is. Especially because it gives you certain tools. Like I said, it transfers to life. You know what I mean? You learn all of these things on the mat, but it also works out in the
Mhm.
world too. And I think the younger that those kids get those tools to use them out in the world, the easier it is for them. Not not that they're not going to have problems or anything like that, but it'll help them problem solve a little bit faster maybe than it would if they didn't have those tools,
No, absolutely. I totally agree.
you know.
Um, I think especially for like teenage girls, I imagine my life completely different as a teenage girl if I had known jujitsu. I just feel like I wouldn't have been so angry. Maybe like I
Yes.
could have let things go more.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So,
played soccer, and I loved playing soccer, but I really wish that I definitely had started jiu-jitsu long before I did.
oh yeah, I think that's everybody. Everybody's like, oh man. I look at Ronda Rousey and I'm like, man, I wish I'd known about
Mhm.
MMA back then because I didn't even know women could do it. I was like,
Yeah.
I thought it was like a male sport, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I would have loved to do it sooner. I am interested. I forgot to ask everybody else this. I really want to ask. So I know this is silly, but what is your favorite jujitsu technique? This is a
My
hard one.
favorite, I
You can
really
only pick
like,
one.
probably De La Hiva, just because there's so many
Ooh.
options from De La Hiva.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite submission.
Um, Probably chokes.
It's like a good old choke.
Yep.
Broad. That's broad. I can think of like 50 chokes.
I know. That's
You're
why
like,
I don't know which one specifically I like more than the other one. I just prefer chokes over arm
oh,
bars or anything like that. So
absolutely. Choking someone just feels so right. Like
yeah.
it feels so good. Like armbar, meh, but
Yeah.
choking someone,
Yep.
perfect.
Yep.
Absolute perfection. So
Yep.
I agree. I would say bow and arrow for me.
Ah, yes. Yep.
Bow and arrow is so good.
Yep.
Um, let's go off of jujitsu. What's your
Yeah.
favorite movie?
Uh, it's really bad. Actually, it's not really bad.
Ooh,
Top Gun.
Top Gun.
I
Oh
love Top
man.
Gun.
Ah, Val Kilmer. Man,
Yeah. And
Welcome.
that's probably the
I
only
swear,
movie that I think that Tom Cruise actually looks good in. Like, I don't think he's that attractive or anything, but in that movie, he was attractive.
man. 5-year-old me was digging on Val Kilmer so hard.
I remember, do you remember the movie Willow?
Oh my God, Mad Mardigan. Oh, I think I started puberty early because of Mad Mardigan. Oh my God. My favorite part is where he's like in the lady's bedroom and he comes in and the husband comes back and he's like,
Not
"My
a
name is
woman.
Hilda." Oh man. I met someone named Hilda probably about a month ago and I could not stop saying Hilda, Hilda.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh my God, what is wrong with you?" We were
Oh my
trying to
God.
roll and I was like, "Hey Hilda." Horrible.
So awesome,
Absolutely
though.
horrible.
That's so
I know.
awesome.
That movie's so good. Okay. What's your favorite band?
Um, Man, that's so hard because I
That is a
like
hard question.
so many different genres of music. So it's like, mm, favorite band.
I know. It's a
Man, I'm
hard
gonna
one.
say, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to say like maybe George Strait. That's the only one that
George
keeps.
Strait?
Yeah,
I did not expect you to say that.
I'm a huge man. I love country music.
I did not expect you to say that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought you were gonna say like I thought you were gonna say like Rage Against the Machine.
No, man. I I don't like. I can listen to some heavier music. Like I love Metallica, stuff like that. But anything that's like really loud and extreme, I can't do it.
Country music girl, like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Well, I did say I was from Texas, so country music is a thing. But if you want to listen to the best Texas rock band, it's the Toadies. Everyone knows it's the Toadies.
The
Okay.
Toadies?
Yes. So now
Yeah,
you have homework. You have to go listen to the Toadies and let me know what you think.
I will for sure.
Okay. Is there anything else jujitsu related you would like to tell me?
No? Are
No,
you
that's
are
it.
you gonna be doing Master Worlds?
Okay, so here's the thing. I was supposed to do this last weekend, the Dallas Open.
Mm-hmm.
But it was exactly on my son's birthday. And so I was like, oh no, there's no way I can go do that. And then my husband was trying to do ADCC in Arizona. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, we have got to stop scheduling tournaments during people's birthdays. So I really want to. I've never done IBJJF. So I'm kind of like, I need to just pull the plug. I need to do it. I'm kind of
Yeah.
nervous. I know it's just a tournament, but I feel like how do you feel when you compete at bigger tournaments? Do you feel like more pressure to win or like it's televised? So I'm like, if I if I get submitted by something stupid, or like I
But
feel
that
pressured.
yeah, that's the game too. You know what I mean? Like I don't um I mean any fight is you're gonna have nerves and stuff like that. I don't feel any more pressure than any other one because my goal is to show up and compete at the best that I can. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if I lose, okay, it's gonna suck, but I also you learn so much that way too. So then that's where I just try to focus on that instead of being like, oh, I'm gonna look like a dumbass if this happens or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, yeah, it sucks, but dude, I think that's the other thing. Like with MMA, a lot of the times, like the venues that I would fight at, there's anywhere between 3,000 to 5,000 people. And I've had some really bad fights, like really bad fights. And so losing those in front of that, I'm kind of like, whatever. It is what it is, Like
Once you've
anymore,
done
I
it, you've
don't.
done it.
Yeah, anymore, I don't. I mean, yeah, it sucks losing, but don't put so much pressure on yourself.
Yeah, I think that that was actually a good thing to talk about too, because like a lot of people, I mean, I I coach all these people and I do private lessons, all these things, and people are like, "Oh my gosh." And the thing about it is it really doesn't matter. Like if you win, it's great, you know, but no one's gonna think you're better just because you won. Really, at your school, no one's gonna think you suck if you lost. Everybody's just kind
Yeah.
of like, yeah, whatever. I mean, good
Yeah.
job. But
Yeah.
um, I think that's a good lesson to take from that though. Is like because I've never done that tournament, maybe I'm building it up a little too much
Hmm.
because there's a lot of hype around it.
Yeah.
So I just need to stop being a turd and just go. I need to go.
Just try it.
It's so I know it's so expensive. I need to find like a sponsor or do
Mm.
OnlyFans or something.
Oh man, don't.
I'm just
No.
kidding.
I was like, don't get me started on that.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, like to do all these tournaments, you really have to like stop being poor. Being poor
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I need to get like my friend get sponsored by a barbecue place and just like put the patch straight across my butt so I can stop working and just compete.
That's the dream, right? That's the dream.
Yeah. It's like Talladega Nights. Man, I sure do love Tide. But that sticker is very inconvenient. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Like put it somewhere really awkward where you're like, I don't even know.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, I'm thinking I don't even I haven't I was researching the Dallas Open. When is Worlds and where is it? I can't even remember.
It's in Vegas and it's the end of this month actually. It's the 31st. It's over Labor Day weekend, which kind of sucks, but it's
Mm-hmm.
August 31st to like September 2nd or something like that. The good thing is it's close to me and I would like to compete more often. It's just, man, especially traveling and stuff, like it gets really hard and then it's hard for me to compete at our events, so then it's,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I get you. And it like I said, it's expensive. So
Mhm.
you're gonna try to go to the Worlds?
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Go get some gold medals.
Hopefully, that's the plan.
Oh,
But
yeah. Well, you know, I think when you're working too, like I haven't competed at Jiu-Jitsu World League for a couple years now, and it's because if you're coaching or you're working, you're running around all day,
yeah.
and then you have to our our matches would be like at the very end, and
Yeah.
so it's like 9 o'clock.
No. No.
It's like no, thank you, I don't
Yeah.
want to do that. So also too, I think it's as you move on, it's harder to find competitors too. For you especially, I think you almost have to do IBJJF because
Hmm.
otherwise there's no one for you at other tournaments.
Yeah, I've looked, there's nobody registered. I've thought about throwing my name in there just to see if somebody else will register, because maybe
Hmm.
there's girls thinking the same thing, that there's nobody in their division, so they might as well not do it. So maybe.
I think I mean, that's a good idea. Or maybe like post on some of the women's forums and be like, hey, I need somebody. Come on, let's go. I've seen that a lot.
Yeah.
Women's grappling network and things like that. People reach
Yeah.
out and try to get other competitors. So maybe you could do that. But
Or super
I don't
fights.
know.
I want to do, like, I like the super fights too. Tournament style is kind of, I like tournament style, but I'd much rather just have, like, I don't know. I don't know if it's just because the experience with MMA, like having that part of it. I like the super fights. I really want to do the combat jiu-jitsu.
Oh my gosh. Those videos online are wild. I don't know about that. I don't want to get poked in the eye. It just looks like you would get poked in the eye like 100%. It's going to happen.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
really good at bedazzling. So if you have to wear an eye patch, I'll make you one with like
You can
a
make
rhinestone S. That
nice.
would be terrible. But yeah, the super fights are cool. At least you get a walkout song. That's why I want to do them.
Yes.
I want a
Yeah.
walkout song. What's your walkout song?
Man, I've come out to so many different ones. I don't even know what my next one would be. But I don't know. I've come out to like Under Pressure by David Bowie.
Ah,
Um Hit Me With Your Best Shot. That
that's
one
funny.
that one was the worst one. But yeah.
If you come out to Under Pressure, your top game better be on point, you know?
I know, right?
Otherwise, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're like, shit. I picked
Yes.
Under Pressure and I got smashed the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, that was what Hit Me With Your Best Shot happened. Is I got hit. That's the only fight that I ever had that I actually like I almost got knocked out. And like I couldn't recover from the punch, and I was just like,
Ah,
oh my gosh, man. So, but it was pretty
oh
cool.
man. I started doing Muay Thai not too long ago. I mean, I'd done it in the past years back for about a year, but um, I mean, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just kind of like going crazy. But
Yeah.
now I've started like actually doing it. Hey, hey, guy.
That's my child.
Hey, hello, man, child.
Why are you on my desk?
Because I'm doing an interview
For what?
for her podcast thing.
Hello, world.
Hello. You are Instagram famous now, I guess.
Dope.
I know. Super dope.
Yeah, my
He's
man
fun.
child that decided to buy himself a motorcycle and
Crash.
Oh, geez.
mm-hmm.
Oh, no. I cannot imagine.
Yeah.
I'd be like slashing his tires when he wasn't looking. Oh, no, it's flat. You can't go.
Jealous because she wants one.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, I do
man.
want one. Yes.
So scary to me. I don't know. So scary. People in Texas drive so insane and everything's far. So
Oh, the same as
I don't know.
California. That's why I don't know if I would have one here. But if I ever move out of here, then I'll probably have one someplace else. Just because, man, it's nuts here. They're crazy.
Yeah.
Texas
Well, if
reminds
gas
me.
prices
Actually,
keep
driving
going,
in
you have to have
Texas.
one.
Yeah, Texas reminds me a lot of California, but I think it's because everybody in California moved to Texas.
Yeah. Man, I haven't met anybody in like the last 6 months that's not from California. Everybody. We've got like, I'm starting to wonder who's left in California if everybody's here.
Right. Yeah.
Like, who's there?
Yeah.
Too many.
It's like a ghost town.
Yeah.
All the Californians are hanging out and
No,
prosper.
no, still not. Still a lot of people.
There must have been like so many people in California.
Oh, for sure.
That's
Yep.
wild. Yeah, I mean, like everybody I've met in the last 6 months is from California.
Yeah.
Thankfully, most everyone has been pretty nice. So, no, not too many complaints over here. But I really would like them to stop messing with our tacos. That would be cool, though. Like, stop
They're not
messing
as
with tacos.
authentic anymore.
Man, like y'all better stop with these crazy tacos. Like, please, if you put pickled red onions on your tacos, you're gonna have to get the hell out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it just meat, cilantro, onion, salsa. That's all you need. Lime.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's a good taco.
That's it. That's all you need. But all right, well, I'm gonna wrap it up because my children are supposed to be doing their homeschool work right now, and I'm pretty sure they're not. So gotta whip them into shape. And it was so fun talking to you. I think we had a little too much fun. Hopefully I stayed on to the questions okay. But
for the most part, I think they were all answered. So
yeah, I think I got most of them. But we'll probably maybe we do one in the future where we don't talk about tacos and Val Kilmer so much.
yeah.
All right, girlfriend. Well, I will see you
Right.
September 9th. And you better tell them they better have my yellow shirt.
I will for sure.
Lay
For
the
sure.
smack down. Use your influence.
No way. No
All
way.
right. I look forward to seeing you, seeing what happens for Worlds. Hopefully you get to go, and I will be cheering you on.
All right. Sounds good.
Bye.
All right. Bye.